We know the kids are excited. The theme of our play today is integrity. Very good. All right. She's got the only speaking line in the play, so did a good job. And we asked a few of the kids that will be performing today what they think it means to have integrity. And here are some of their answers. Michael Hernandez said, "Integrity is the way you walk, and when you get there, you are proud to be there." Katie Bell said, "Integrity is our faith in love and Jehovah continuing." And Molly Scott said, "Integrity is having faith, never giving up, never doubting Jehovah, and keeping strong until the end. It's the best quality you can have when we are still in this bad world." So some nice sentiments from our young ones. Just a few announcements we want to share with you guys. We know that this is like paparazzi heaven here, so if you want to take some pictures, we just ask that you think about the folks behind you. So maybe go to the side or to the back to snap a couple photos through the course of the play. And we want to keep the middle aisle clear because we're going to have some performers going out there in a little bit. Also, Crystal Scott's going to be taking a group photo of the kids at the end of the play. And she'll be glad to share that with everybody if you want to leave your email address with her. And that way we can make sure everybody gets a good group shot. Now we know there's going to be a lot of thunderous applause when all of this is said and done, but if we could hold off until the very end for that. We've got a couple of scene changes and things, so we'll let that go smoothly. Also, after the drama, the kids and the young adults that we have performing are going to be singing a kingdom song for us. And we know that all of you would love to join in, but maybe we can wait till the last verse for that. And everybody can join in singing. And now speaking of our young adults, we have some teenagers that are helping us out with the play today. I can remember back when I was a teenager, it was a little bit difficult on the teenage ego to take part. But what a fantastic example they're setting for our young ones. So we want to express appreciation for them. Just another announcement. We know that we were only able to invite so many here today because of the size of our auditorium. We wish we could have everybody involved, but since we can't do that, this play is going to be recorded, and anybody who'd like to have it is welcome to. And again, Crystal's going to be taking that, and she'll be able to share that with friends and family. All right. Well, without further ado, we present to you.
Integrity is most often used to describe unswerving devotion to righteousness. Satan was the first integrity breaker, and he asserts that you serve God only when it is convenient, and that you will break your integrity under trial. The first couple, Adam and Eve, gave in to Satan and broke their integrity to God. Each of us must answer the question, will I maintain my integrity to God despite persecution or personal hardship? Let us listen in as the righteous man Job comes face to face with a dramatic challenge to his integrity.
There happened to be a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man proved to be blameless and upright and fearing God and turning aside from bad. And 7 sons and 3 daughters came to be born to him. And his livestock got to be 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels and 500 spans of cattle and 500 she-asses, along with a very large body of servants. And that man came to be the greatest of all the Orientals. And his sons went and held a banquet at the house of each one on his own day. And they sent and invited their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them.
Welcome, my sister. The banquet has already begun. Please make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Late again, Leah? Before you sit down, pass me the meat, please, and the wine.
You, my brother, have the biggest appetite of anyone I know.
And it would occur that when the banquet days had gone round the circuit, Job would send and sanctify them. And he got up early in the morning and offered up burnt sacrifices according to the number of all of them. For, said Job,
maybe my sons have sinned and have cursed God in their heart.
that is the way Job would do always. Now it came to be the day when the sons of the true God entered to take their station before Jehovah, and even Satan proceeded to enter right among them. Then Jehovah said to Satan,
Where do you come from?
At that Satan answered Jehovah and said,
From roving about in the earth, and from walking about in it.
And Jehovah went on to say to Satan,
Have you set your heart upon my servant Job, that there is no one like him in the earth, a man blameless and upright, fearing God and turning aside from bad?
At that Satan answered Jehovah and said,
Is it for nothing that Job has feared God? Have not you yourself put up a hedge about him, and about his house, and about everything that he has all around? The work of his hands you have blessed, and his livestock itself has spread abroad in the earth. But for a change, thrust out your hand, please, and touch everything he has, and see whether he will not curse you to your very face.
Accordingly, Jehovah said to Satan,
Look, everything that he has is in your hand. Only against him himself do not thrust out your hand.
So Satan went out away from the person of Jehovah. Now it came to be the day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother the firstborn. And there came a messenger to Job, and he proceeded to say,
Excuse me, my lord. The cattle themselves happened to be plowing, and the she-asses were grazing at the side of them, when the Sabaeans came making a raid, and taking them, and the attendants they struck down with the edge of the sword. And I got to escape, only I, by myself, to tell you.
While this one was yet speaking, that one came and proceeded to say,
My lord, the very fire of God fell from the heavens and went blazing among the sheep and the attendants and eating them up. And I got to escape, only I by myself, to tell you.
While that one was yet speaking, another one came and proceeded to say,
The Chaldeans made up 3 bands and went dashing against the camels and taking them. And the attendants, they struck down with the edge of the sword. And I got to escape, only I by myself, to tell you.
While this other one was yet speaking, still another one came and proceeded to say,
Oh, my master, your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother the firstborn. And look, there came a great wind from the region of the wilderness, and it went striking the 4 corners of the house, so that it fell upon the young people, and they died. And I got to escape, only I by myself, to tell you.
And Job proceeded to get up and rip his sleeveless coat apart and cut the hair off his head and fall to the earth and bow down and say,
Naked I came out of my mother's belly, and naked shall I return there. Jehovah himself has given, and Jehovah himself has taken away. Let the name of Jehovah continue to be blessed.
In all this, Job did not sin or ascribe anything improper to God. Afterward it came to be the day when the sons of the true God entered to take their station before Jehovah. And Satan also proceeded to enter right among them to take his station before Jehovah. Then Jehovah said to Satan,
Just where do you come from?
At that Satan answered Jehovah and said,
From roving about in the earth and from walking about in it.
And Jehovah went on to say to Satan,
Have you set your heart upon my servant Job? That there is no one like him in the earth, a man blameless and upright, fearing God and turning aside from bad. Even yet he is holding fast his integrity. Although you incite me against him to swallow him up without cause.
But Satan answered Jehovah and said,
Skin in behalf of skin, and everything that a man has he will give in behalf of his soul. For a change, thrust out your hand, please, and touch as far as his bone and his flesh, and see whether he will not curse you to your very face.
Accordingly, Jehovah said to Satan,
There he is in your hand. Only watch out for his soul itself.
So Satan went out away from the person of Jehovah, and struck Job with a malignant boil from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. And he proceeded to take for himself a fragment of earthenware with which to scrape himself, and he was sitting in among the ashes.
Please bring me some water.
Oh, my husband, look at you.
Finally his wife said to him,
Are you yet holding fast your integrity? Curse God and die.
But he said to her,
As one of the senseless women speaks, you speak also. Shall we accept merely what is good from the true God, and not accept also what is bad?
In all this, Job did not sin with his lips.
Did you sense Job's anguish as he heard about one calamity after another? Then he was struck with a loathsome disease, causing pain and a sense of helplessness. Job mistakenly felt that God was causing him misery, yet he refused to turn his back on Jehovah. We too can choose a course of integrity. While not all tragedies come directly from Satan, we can be sure that he will try to exploit our adversities in order to cause us to give up on God. Did you notice that Jehovah was very much interested in Job, even lovingly referring to him as blameless and upright, and noting that he was holding fast his integrity? Jehovah is interested in your course of integrity as well. Now, please open to the Bible book of Daniel, chapter 6. Here, another integrity keeper stays loyal to Jehovah despite governmental opposition and a death sentence. Listen to the gripping account at Daniel chapter 6, verses 1 to 28.
It seemed good to Darius, and he set up over the kingdom 120 satraps who were to be over the whole kingdom, and over them 3 high officials, of whom Daniel was one, in order that these satraps might continually be giving to them the report, and the king himself might not become the loser. Then it was that this Daniel was steadily distinguishing himself over the high officials and the satraps, forasmuch as an extraordinary spirit was in him, and the king was intending to elevate him over all the kingdom. At that time the high officials and the satraps themselves were constantly seeking to find some pretext against Daniel respecting the kingdom. But there was no pretext or corrupt thing at all that they were able to find, forasmuch as he was trustworthy, and no negligence or corrupt thing at all was found in him. Consequently, these able-bodied men were saying,
"We shall find in this Daniel no pretext at all."
Except we have to find it against him in the law of his God.
Accordingly, these high officials and satraps themselves entered as a throng to the king. And this is what they were saying to him.
"O Darius the king, live on even for times indefinite."
All the high officials of the kingdom, the prefects and the satraps, the high royal officers and the governors, have taken counsel together to establish a royal statute and to enforce an interdict that whoever makes a petition to any god or man for 30 days except to you, O king, should be thrown to the lion's pit.
Now, O king, may you establish the statute and sign the writing in order for it not to be changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which is not annulled.
In accord with this, King Darius himself signed the writing and the interdict. But Daniel, as soon as he knew that the writing had been signed, entered into his house, and the windows in his roof chamber being opened for him toward Jerusalem, even 3 times in a day he was kneeling on his knees and praying and offering praise before his God, as he had been regularly doing prior to this. At that time, these able-bodied men themselves crowded in and found Daniel petitioning and imploring favor before his God.
"Look, there he is, over by the window."
Now you have all seen that he is praying to his God, defying the great king's orders.
Then it was that they approached and were saying before the king concerning the interdict of the king,
"Is there not an interdict that you have signed, that any man that asks a petition from any god or man for 30 days, except from you, O king, he should be thrown to the lion's pit?"
The king was answering and saying,
"The matter is well established, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which is not annulled."
Immediately they answered, and they were saying before the king,
"Daniel, who is of the exiles of Judah, has paid no regard to you, O king,
nor to the interdict that you signed.
But 3 times in a day he is making his petition."
Consequently, the king, as soon as he heard the word, it was very displeasing to him. And toward Daniel he set his mind in order to rescue him. Until the setting of the sun he kept on striving to deliver him. Finally, these able-bodied men themselves entered as a throng to the king, and they were saying to the king,
"Take note, O king, that the law belonging to the Medes and the Persians is that any interdict or statute that the king himself establishes is not to be changed."
Accordingly the king himself commanded. And they brought Daniel and threw him into the pit of the lions. The king was answering and saying to Daniel,
"Your God whom you are serving with constancy, he himself will rescue you."
And a stone was brought and placed on the mouth of the pit. And the king sealed it with his signet ring and with the signet ring of his grandees, in order that nothing should be changed in the case of Daniel. At that time the king went to his palace and spent the night fasting. And no musical instruments were brought in before him, and his very sleep fled from him. Finally the king himself at dawn proceeded to get up in the daylight, and in a hurry he went right to the lion's pit. And as he got near to the pit, he cried out with a sad voice even to Daniel. The king was speaking up and saying to Daniel,
"O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God whom you are serving with constancy been able to rescue you from the lions?"
Immediately Daniel himself spoke even with the king.
"O king, live on even to times indefinite. My own God sent his angel and shut the mouth of the lions, and they have not brought me to ruin. For as much as before him innocence itself was found in me, and also before you, O king, no hurtful act have I done.
Then it was that the king himself became very glad, and Daniel himself he commanded to be lifted up out of the pit. And Daniel was lifted up out of the pit, and there was no hurt at all found on him, because he had trusted in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought these able-bodied men who had accused Daniel, and into the lion's pit they threw them, their sons and their wives. And they had not reached the bottom of the pit before the lions had got the mastery over them, and all their bones they crushed. Then it was that Darius the king himself wrote to all the peoples, the national groups and the tongues that are dwelling in all the earth.
May your peace grow very much. From before me there has been put through an order, and in every dominion of my kingdom, people are to be quaking and fearing before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and one enduring to times indefinite. His kingdom is one that will not be brought to ruin, and his dominion is forever. He is rescuing and delivering and performing signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. For he has rescued Daniel from the paw of the lions.
And as for this Daniel, he prospered in the kingdom of Darius and in the kingdom of Cyrus the Persian.
get you down on the bottom step right here. Whoops, we're missing a line. Down here on the bottom step. One more. Keep going. Keep going. All of you do everything down here. Let me get the next row on the next step. There you go. Let me get all your tall guys back on the back, okay? Alright, let me get okay, everybody look right here. Right here. Ready? Right here. Let's everybody smile. Scoot in a little bit more. There you go. Everybody look here. Here you go. And now Amber and Matt, you guys want to get in there? That would make it perfect. In a minute. All right. I think we got it. Yay! All together.
Get autographs.
I'll take on your program. Can we trade train? Thank you guys. All the top row there. Let me get all my older actors. Let me get the sheep and everybody out here. Let me get the actors. Just a picture of them, okay? Alright, we'll go up there. Let me get all the yeah, all the sheep and everybody.
That's lost sheep.
Hey, you're supposed to shepherd that one. It's lost.
They're the lost sheep.
Okay.